Hey guys, Levelcap here, and today we're going to talk about the new game mode in Battlefield 1, Operations. This is being touted as one of the premier game modes for Battlefield 1. It's brand new, and I gotta say, it's pretty damn fun. It's very similar to the game mode Rush in many ways. One team attacks, the other team defends. There's a 48-player game mode and then a 64-player game mode. We were playing on 64 players. It did feel pretty intense the whole time, but not too clustered, which is good. Now, instead of arming and destroying two MCOMs when you assault, this time around you have to capture flags. However, the flags have to both be captured at the same time. So if you capture A flag, but the enemy team still holds B, and then you go and capture B flag, but then the enemy team manages to come back and take A from you, you won't progress to the next point until you hold both flags fully captured. And what's interesting about this is you can go from capturing 2 flags in one sector to 3 flags in the next sector, or maybe even only 1 flag at the final sector, depending on how it's set up. And this gives the developers and map designers a lot of freedom in what kind of gameplay they want in each sector. Do they want it to be more spread out, more tactical, where you really have to spread your forces strategically to try and capture all 3 flags at the same time? Or do you want to just make it a clusterfuck and draw everybody in on one point? Now, should the attacking team win, you will progress to the next map of the sequence, and these maps come in order of historical significance. So it's like, oh, the attacking team broke through here, now the defending team has to fall back to this area and defend on this new map. However, if the attacking team is unable to push past a certain sector and they run out of tickets, they'll actually get a reinforcement. You get multiple waves of reinforcements. I think it's 2 or 3 in total before you lose the whole game. But basically, if we make it up to like the 3rd sector and then we lose as the attacking team, we'll get a behemoth as a reinforcement, and it'll restart with full tickets at that same sector. And that's what's happening here is we got reinforcements with the behemoth. I managed to hop in the pilot seat, and now I can capture points and reinforce areas, and it does make it significantly easier to try and push forward in the map, provided of course that you have somebody relatively competent piloting the behemoth. Now, if the attacking team is unable to conquer all the sectors, even with their reinforcements, they will lose that game, but it will still progress to the next map. So that's kind of the basics of Operations. Very easy to get into. You don't necessarily have to know the higher level of strategy while you're playing, but it definitely does pay to understand the flag capping mechanics. Now, it's a fun game mode. I want to talk about some of the pros and cons compared to the Rush game mode. Now, the first thing that I like about it better than Rush is that you can play it on 48 or 64 players, and the maps seem to scale well to that player count, which is really great. In addition to that, I think the flag capping system is superior to the MCOM system from Rush, because with the flag capping system, often there's 2 flags, which means that the defending team is always going to have to divide their forces between 2 different flags. Whereas with MCOMs, if the attacking team takes out 1 MCOM, the defending team knows they don't need to worry about that MCOM anymore and just defend 1. But it always makes sense to try and recapture one of your captured flags as the defenders on this game mode. So it's a bit more interesting, and it spreads the team out and adds a little bit more strategy to it, especially if there's 3 flags. That's very hard for the attackers to take all 3 flags. And that can be a little bit of a negative if the attacking team doesn't know what they're doing. Say they get a behemoth, and that behemoth isn't really helping by capturing one of those 3 flags, then it can be very hard to push past that point. On that note though, I do really enjoy the reinforcement mechanic of this game mode. It's sort of a time to take a small breather and say, okay guys, we need to pull it together, we get our tickets back, and we get a behemoth this time. We can definitely take these next few points. And it's nice to be able to get a second or even third chance at that and sort of redefine your strategy and regroup as a team and have another try at it. Now, something that I think all Battlefielders are going to appreciate with this game mode is that it kind of feels like Conquest if it was turned into Rush. And what I mean by that is that it's not really limiting the kinds of vehicles that you might have in this Rush game mode. There's tons of tanks, both offensively and defensively. There's aircraft in the air fighting the airship. There's aircraft bombing the dreadnought as it comes in. I mean, it's an all-out battle with all kinds of vehicles, all kinds of weapons, but it is in a Rush-style game mode, yet it doesn't feel too clustered. I mean, at points it can definitely feel clustered, but I think a lot of that is by intention, like when the developers make it so that there's only 1 flag at the very end and everybody just gets forced into one small battle area area. It gets pretty intense, but it's still fun, and it's not how the game mode plays out the entire way through. The variety of the playstyle based on how many flags you have to cap is really nice, as opposed to Rush's constant 2 MCOMs every single time. Now, something that could be seen as a negative with this game mode, and probably will be seen more so as a negative over time once the newness wears off, is the length of this game mode and the progression system. So if you want to play a specific map, you might have to play the map before it before you can get to that one in the Operations game mode. So basically, you're forced to play a sequence of maps every single time you want to play Operations. You can't just sign up and play whichever map you want. There probably won't be servers playing like this map 24/7 or a rotation of the 3 best Operations maps. You'll always have to play through that set operation, as far as I know. And in one element, that'll certainly bring variety to people and even force the variety upon them. You can't just play one map all day. You're going to have to play a series or a sequence of maps. However, some of the maps just aren't as good. I'll come out and say it now. I think Foul Fortress is my least favorite map. There wasn't a lot of cover. It felt really spammy with the Dreadnought raining in shells, very sniper heavy, sniper oriented. I just wasn't enjoying it that much. Now, it could have been a couple of bad games we had on it. Maybe it's a much better map and I need to learn it better, but just from my initial impressions, I wouldn't be immediately drawn to continue playing that map. So I might start avoiding the operation with Foul Fortress, even if I like the map that comes after it a lot. So that'll have to be something that we judge over time. Is it better to have maps packaged together, where if you want to play the good map, you first have to play the bad map? Or would it be more beneficial to just separate the maps and let you play them in whatever order you wanted? That is the one advantage that Rush is going to have over this game mode, is I believe you're going to be able to set the map rotation to whatever you want in Rush. Of course, Rush is limited to 24 players still, as far as I know. Doesn't have the behemoths as backup, which is a really fun element to it. And it still has the MCOM system, which is less interesting than the new flag system. My prediction is that Operations is going to be a hugely successful and fun game mode, and it's going to make Rush kind of an irrelevant game mode, especially the way that DICE has designed the current Rush game. I don't think that many people are going to be interested. This gives you the full-on Battlefield experience with tanks, airplanes, and even behemoths in a defend and attack style game mode. And I think it's a blast. I think this is really one of the best game modes DICE has come up with in a long time. It plays out pretty well so far. We did run into a few choke points and a few spawn camping situations. Nothing that can't be tweaked or fixed over time. And it is, of course, a complex game mode. Knowing how many tanks to give the attacking team and the defending team, what weapons to spawn on which side at which point in time. Is 3 flags too many for certain areas of it? For the most part, 3 flags seemed like almost impossible to capture without a behemoth, as long as the defending team was even moderately competent, because they only have to neutralize or even start to neutralize one of those 3 flags to keep you from capping the point. And at that point, it's really hard to divide up your team evenly. It requires a lot more strategy than previous Rush games, and trying to organize a 32-man team to divide up evenly among flag points is not going to be easy. Another thing I have to mention, because I was hammering DICE on it during the alpha and beta, was the lack of trench warfare in a Battlefield 1 game. But Operations certainly brings it back. It's not hugely built into Operations, but there's definitely trenches, and there's definitely moments where trenches are really beneficial. At the beginning of SCAR, when you're playing on Operations, it's all trench warfare. It's muddy, it's like raining, everybody's just like filthy. It's a really cool scene. They set it up perfectly. And then here playing Suez, we have some trenches built into the desert, and they're actually effective. It's really good to like fire mortars out of the trench and use them for cover. I like the way that they've integrated trench warfare so far. Anyway, I'm very happy with this game mode. I hope it becomes extremely popular, because it scratches that Rush itch that I've been having since Battlefield 3, and it's just something that I could see myself wanting to play Operations just as much, if not more, than Conquest. Anyway, that pretty much wraps it up for this overview / review of the Operations game mode. I'm psyched for it. I think it's going to be one of my favorites, and I think it's really going to appeal to the entire Battlefield community. Whether you like Conquest or Rush, I think this is going to have a little bit of something for everyone. As always, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap signing off.